So do you think Hawkman was compensating for something? Because the only way I can get this helmet in is if I tilt my head and get really far. Yeah. I like gold. Hey there, Josh with Cullen Cosplay. About due for an answering video stuff. I've been on hiatus for a while, stuff's been going on, but I'm going to try to get back into gear. What I need is questions from you guys. So if I don't know what you're looking for, I have a couple videos that go into foam, shows what it does, how to do it, the death stroke, and of course the really long one that I posted. But I need what you guys are missing on, stuff that I can actually show you how to improve, because I'd be glad to help. So this straight up answering stuff, trying to figure stuff out. One that's long overdue is shoes. What I do is buy the 99-cent flip-flops from Walmart, and I just glue the foam on it. So it's literally still a flip-flop, still has the prongs in there and everything else. And I've done that for the Iron Patriot, the Iron Bat, I've done it for the Guyver. Pretty much any suit that needs shoes and boots that are high-tech, that's what I usually do. The ODST, I think Blue Beetle, I was just going to do boots, and you can do the covers on it, and that way you can just run some elastic down at the bottom of it, put the shoe on, run it like that. The other thing is I've gotten hit up a lot for what I'm using. I'm using Pepakura Designer for the actual guides and stuff, so if you watch the Deathstroke videos, there's like a point-to-point measuring tool. That's what that's in, and it's pretty much saved my butt. I've messed up on 1 or 2 helmets since it's been on there just because of size, because I'm trying to scale it like it's supposed to, but most of the time I just scale for the width of my head and just run with it. Kind of like the Hawkman helmet that you saw. All I did was try to scale what my width was, put that in there, point-to-point measure on the inside of it, and you're good to go. The other thing that I've seen people do is when they do their templates, I've actually met some awesome guys just traveling around, and some of them are actually using pins and mechanical pencils to trace their foam. I use a fat tip Sharpie, and so when you trace your templates, it doesn't take you as long. You don't have to be exact, because as long as it's laying flat on the foam, you're going to get a nice thick outline. And all you do is cut out the inside, because that's where your template was laying. So it makes everything a lot quicker if you just use a giant thick tip marker. I haven't ever had stuff disappear. Don't leave the stuff around for days, because it does lighten up. But I usually try to just do like one shin at a time or one piece at a time, and that way I cut out my foam and I get started on it and I know what's going on. The other thing, somebody did hit me up on what if you cut too much foam on your angles. So if you're going for a certain angle and it doesn't need to be as much as it can, whenever you cut out that piece for your angle, you actually have, at least at the foot of my floor, I have at least, I don't know, 50, 60 strands that fall down like this. So if your angle that you cut is too steep and you need to have it up a little bit, take one of those strands and all of a sudden you got 3 different ways you can actually plug that in there and fill that gap and glue it back together. And that way you don't have something that's going to fall apart. So I know I did that a couple times on stuff when I first started, because I was still trying to get used to looking at the program and actually going back to it. But if you cut too much, just keep those strands handy. I mean, at least keep it while you're doing each piece, and that way you know that if you do mess up when you're first starting, you can just glue that back in there and your piece will fit like you need it. The other thing is foam. When I coat foam, I actually don't coat my foam, you know, do the whole white glue thing, and it's all because of the texture that I'm going for. If you're on my Facebook, I've been doing the Predators. I'm using the gray foam that is from Big Lots that has the awesome tread on the back of it. And once I was done with this, all I did was use Rust-Oleum 2X primer and then Rust-Oleum 2X paint, and that was it. I used, on my full suit, the full red Predator suit, I had 2 cans of primer, and then I had 3 cans of this red paint, and that was it for the entire thing. I didn't coat it, I didn't do anything, but it's because also I have the texture on it. I wasn't going for the thin, smooth stuff, and if it was porous, I use a heat gun on the gray stuff to actually seal it up. And I think that's what helps a lot of it anyway. So I actually didn't seal this thing at all with any Plasti Dip or anything else. And as an example, I brought it's the polyethylene cross-linked. And I was kind of going to go over this, but I didn't seal this when I made the Predator disc. This is straight primer and paint. I didn't seal it at all. It's still light as heck. Of course, if you throw it, dent it, chip it, of course the paint's going to break, do whatever, but it's either going to be on my hip. My son, Mr. Deathstroke himself, Predator, he's going to be using this, I think. Well, he's wanting to. And that way, you can't really do much damage with it. But that coat, that's straight spray paint. Everything is spray cans that I use. And I do have an airbrush that all I do is I do all the outlines on the armor in black. That's all I do is just spray the outlines and it gives it that shading. But back to the cross-linked polyethylene. This stuff is super light, has a smooth back, really easy to work with. It does have a texture on it from where they're cutting the blocks for the widths. From what I read online, if you heat gun it and then you do Plasti Dip, it gets rid of those lines. But I have yet to Plasti Dip, so I still see the lines when I look at this disc. I actually have the lines still existing in it because I was just straight primer, straight paint. It doesn't bother me at all because it's for fun, in my opinion. But this foam, as soon as you glue and put it together, it's pretty much stuck. It melts it pretty quick. I mean, this stuff, it cuts really nice too. It's actually, when it cuts, it reminds me of this, where you'll go through blades pretty quick unless you got a blade sharpener. And then if you use your blade sharpener, shoot, you know, I think I went through 5 pieces of this and not have to worry about ever sharpening anything. It's pretty cool. But I definitely, if you want to do other suits and you don't mind paying, it's shipping's free if it's over 75 bucks, but I think it's foammart.com or usafoam.com is the one where I got this stuff. I'll put a link down at the bottom. But I do like this a lot, and I'm hoping I can do either an Iron Man suit or the Briario suit is the next one I'm wanting to do on it. But if you have any questions, stuff you want to see, I need to know so I can actually show it to you. I don't like going through each single build just for the fact that it's just foam and it's the same thing. But if you're getting stuck on stuff and you're like, well, how do you do this, how do you do that, if you want to see me paint, just let me know. And that way, post it in the comments, hit me up on Facebook, and I'll start doing videos. I just need to know what you're looking for. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Sorry for the long gap, but you know, there's a ton of stuff out there. And if you have any questions, please let me know.